guys, welcome to the channel and welcome to another Hammer horror review. Today we're going right back to the 1950s with an early Hammer film called Four-Sided Triangle. Now this is the limited edition release from Hammer itself, and it was released earlier on this year. Before we get on to it, let's have a look at any special features. So this is the main menu for Four-Sided Triangle. You have the movie. We have a commentary with Melanie Williams and Theresa Wakefield, and a commentary with Kevin Lyons and Jeremy Wrigley. Trailer elements: Mute, In the Sticks Sci-Fi, Things to Come, I Am Not Ashamed, Image Gallery, and Setup. So that is the 4K disc in the 4K Blu-ray of Four-Sided Triangle. So we got a few titles of special features on that disc, but I can't go into details on it. I didn't want to press onto it just in case it started it. And there is a Blu-ray disc as well in this set, which I believe has special features on it too. So that's pretty cool. So let's get on to the story. So this is a story which is, it's like a cross between Frankenstein and The Fly. It's about two friends called Bill and Robin. Bill's played by Stephen Murray and Robin is played by John Van Essen, who later became, in the Dracula film, he played Jonathan Harker, but in this film he plays Robin. And they're two friends, and they've got a female friend called Lena, who's played by Barbara Payton. This story tells them of these three, and it's told through the eyes of the local GP called Dr. Harvey, who's played by James Hayter, who went on to become the voice of Mr. Kipling in the TV adverts. Now, the film starts off as he sort of narrates a little bit of a story, because we come to this old burnt out barn, and he tells us the story of what happened before this was burnt out. And he's wandering through the local town, and he comes to this barn where he sees Lena, Bill and Robin playing. They're young children at this stage, and Lena's pretending to be the queen, and Bill and Robin are fighting to become her king with sort of like sort of wooden swords, in which Bill sort of wins the fight and becomes her queen, and Robin runs out of the barn all upset. And then we join them years later, and Bill and Robin have become really good scientists and have sort of like creative sort of scientists with like experiments. And Lena went off on her own to start a new career of jobs and stuff like this. And Bill and Robin went to Cambridge University. And then they all came back to the little village where this is set, where Dr. Harvey lives. Lena's been unsuccessful at all of her sort of career and jobs, and she's just come back to sort of like get away from everything. And Dr. Harvey tells her that Bill and Robin are here. And they've set up like a laboratory in the old barn where they used to hang out. So she goes and reintroduces herself, and they're so pleased to see her. And she starts getting involved with their experiments. Now they've invented a machine called a reproducer. This is where it's a little bit like The Fly, where they can move. In The Fly, it can move one object to another pod, can't it? But in this one, it recreates something to its exact same in the other side of this reproducer. First of all, they try it on a piece of jewelry of Dr. Harvey. They want to demonstrate him the ability of this machine, and he's absolutely can't believe it, because it absolutely replicates the jewelry to every single mark and everything. So it works, And then they get sponsorship from Sir Walter, played by Percy Marmont. He comes in and gets involved with this sort of like and helps them to fund their sort of like experiments. And they try all different things, and the two, Bill and Robin and Lena, are all working together on this. As the story evolves, Bill then sort of discusses privately with Dr. Harvey that he's in love with Lena. And so he sort of like tells him, well, maybe you should sort of like sort that out and get onto it, sort of thing. And they're at some sort of dinner party one night, and Lena and Robin come into the room and announce their engagement, which really upsets Bill. And so they then go and get married, Lena and Robin, and Bill is extremely upset. Lena and Bill sort of go away to London, and Robin stays there still working on his experiments. And he explains to Dr. Harvey that he's been working on transporting or reproducing livestock. First of all, he tried it with a guinea pig, but it didn't work. And then he tried it with a rabbit, and it worked. And he's got a ploy behind this, because what he wants to do is reproduce another Lena for himself, which he successfully does. But then things all go terribly wrong and doesn't go the way he expects it to go. I won't tell you what happens. I want you to watch it and find out. So that's where it comes into the Frankenstein part of it, really, where he's creating a new life out of this other life. So that's that part. So let's get on to the characters. So the two lads, Bill and Robin, are fantastic. It's great to see John Van Elsen in another film. I've only really seen him in, I've seen him in many other films, but rememberable in the 1954 Dracula with Christopher Lee. Oh, so sorry, guys. As he plays Jonathan Harker in that film. It's great to see him in that. Stephen Murray plays a convincing part as Bill. I don't really like Bill very much because he wants it his way, if you like, and that's why he's creating this replica of Lena, which he calls Helen. Barbara Payton is fantastic in this role. She's extremely beautiful woman, and it's great to see James Hatto as Dr. Harvey, as Mr. Kipling. He was in another film. I'm trying to think which one it was. It well be Blood on Satan's Claw. I'm sure he was in that, or he was in Witchfinder General. He was in definitely one of those two films. So it's great to see him in this role. And they all play their roles really convincing, and you like them all. You like them all, and you feel sorry for them that they've taken their experiments to the extreme, and it's sort of like not really worked out. But it is kind of a weird thing, isn't it? Reproducing another thing, and is that a prelude to AI? Who knows? And genetic engineering, which seems to be prevalent like since these sort of times. But yeah, the characters are fantastic. So here's my final verdict. This is an amazing film, and I'm going to score it a 9 out of 10. I'm not going to score it 10 out of 10. It just lacks a little bit of the more horror. It just needs more horror elements into the film. The horror of this film is humans taking their ability to an extreme where they're creating something to a destructive mode. But it lacks that sort of horror that Frankenstein kind of had, or The Fly, but it still has that sort of horror in a sort of a mystery way and in a convincing way, because it's a bit of a slow burn. There's not much real action going on in the film. It's not an action horror film. It's a film about scientists taking things a little bit too far that they shouldn't. But it's an amazing watch. It's fantastic. The pluses of this edition, it's in this ratio, which is a little bit of a negative, but the transfer is fantastic. Absolutely clear, crystal clear. image in black and white, as you may have seen from some of the clips. The story is fantastic, although it's very similar to the Frankenstein story. Now, if you own the Blu-ray of The Curse of Frankenstein by Hammer, I think it's the 2 or 3 disc version, it's got a DVD with this film on it. So you don't really need to buy this if you don't really want an upgrade. I wanted to see this in its remastered sort of like vision, because the one that's on DVD does look a bit rough, but this one does look really, really cool. It looks stunning. Looks it could have been made this year. Looks really nice. But it is a great film, great cast, well checking out. Four-sided triangle, 9 out of 10. Any of you guys seen it? If you have, let me know down below. It's absolutely amazing. There is a couple of other films coming out from Hammer. One's already out, but they are releasing another film similar to sort of like this sort of mode, and they're releasing another killer box set soon of Quatermass 2. So maybe I'll pick that up. We'll see. But until then, check out some other channels. Check out Horror Hands, Horror Geek, Man v Film, RS Design, Pizzawell, Skin Crawler, Cat Watches Horror Movies, Grumpy Andrew's Horror House, and The Maniac. And a massive shout out to my lad. Till next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I see you all soon.